it do? What it do? What it do? I'm back. I told you I was going to be back, and I'm so glad to be back with the dynamic perspective, bringing new energy, rebranding, and just having a really good time, enjoying life. You know, things are going on in the world today, and we got to ask ourselves sometimes: is it meant to be? Should it be? And why couldn't it be? So, you know, we want to start this month because we're in April, and I did some research on the month of April, not just because it's my birthday month, so you know I'm real special in April, right? You know, the diva, I'm just bougie like that. But April carries a powerful message. So I really want you to hear what I'm getting ready to say to you. April carries a powerful message of growth. We talk about renewal. We talk about divine alignment as the world blossoms. So it's not time for you not to do your journey. It's time for you to start your path to your journey because you're going to be walking in purpose and grace. So I want these words to really sit in the core of your stomach when I say this. You're approved already because you are already enough. You walk in confidence. You walk with your head up, your back straight because you're knowing you're worthy and wherever you go. You come into abundance, not just an abundance in the materialistic things, but you come into abundance where you're talking about your true blessings and the blessings that are on the way when you carry yourself in faith. What comes overnight comes in the day, and it must be bountiful for you to have abundance. You're appointed. And when you're appointed, you're anointed. Those two things have to go together. So your appointment in life is for you to be better, to do better, for you to move vicariously through life with all the trials, life lesson blessings, but you're all supposed to be appointed when you're doing that because your assignment is destined for you and nobody else. You are anointed because you are given a gift. No one else has the gift that you have. My gift is being passionate about people. Your gift may be mechanically inclined or being able to remember things by sight. Everyone has a gift. So your gift is anointed to you because that is a blessing that was bestowed upon you and you only. You must achieve. Your achievement is not just in the material things, but it's in the spiritual wins. When you feel good about doing good for others, when you play it forward, we hear expression all the time. Let's play it forward. But when you achieve greatness, it's because you know that rather the big or small, your proof is in the resilience that you have walked through whatever you walk through to get that achievement. So sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back and say, you know, because I have been approved and I'm abundant and I have been appointed and now anointed, that I have achievement in my life. And whether it be big or small, it's your achievement. Don't sit back and say, why is my achievement like the next person's achievement? Because that person's appointment and anointment is different from yours. Okay. Let's talk about acceptance. We all want to be accepted in some way, shape, or form, whether it be societal acceptance, whether it be the classification that people see us, but we're acceptance of how we embrace ourselves when we put ourselves first. And when you put yourself first, you have to put God and faith first to be accepted. Because with all your flaws and all your successes and all your imperfections, you've been accepted already by the highest power that's out here. Keep that in mind. And your adventure is the adventure that comes from you as life is unfolding. You get new opportunities when you keep your heart and your mind open. When you are closed off, those opportunities don't come to you. Those resources don't come to you. So the month of April may be the breakthrough month. And when I say breakthrough, because spring comes, flowers come, and that dang pollen, let's tell it what it is. You know, the pollen everywhere, but it comes, right? But it's the breakthrough. It's you got to stay on your game. You got to be on your feet. You got to be open in your mind and your heart to all of the messages that are coming. And as you know, the diva always tell you, don't let nothing live in your head rent free. Because when you let something live in your head that is going to take the positive energy from you and make you feel less than, then you being anointed and appointed, you being approved, you living in abundance, all those things go out the windows because you let something negative take away everything that's good for you. So let the month of April be your breakthrough and integrate that into how you move forward from this part on. because the seasons change and you have the opportunity to do that. Don't let someone else make your narrative, make your own. So you don't always have to start off with some positive words, because I want you to understand the importance of this podcast. It's not just to sit here and talk at you. I want to talk to you. I want to vibe with you, but I want you to leave with a message from me. And I want you to understand that everyone is lifing. We are all going through something, and we are affected by something, good, bad, or indifferent. And it's how you move forward from it. And sometimes you have to say, I need help, or be help to someone. So you have to be able to do that. Now, let's talk about some things that's going on in the community, because I'm about the community. I like to share some things that's going on in the community. I don't know if you guys caught yesterday, I'm going to call it the Apostle Lady D. Okay, let me tell you something right now. Did she drop some sign? The word was triumph, y'all. You understand? You have to understand you are triumphant in everything that you are given because of your experiences and how you take them experiences, using your resilience to be better. And you got to tune into her on Wednesday. I'm gonna tell you something. I stopped what I was doing, okay? Because I had to pay attention to every word she said, because sometimes the spirit hits you at times when you least expect it, and you got to sit back and say, well, wow. Is that applicable to me? Is that person really talking to me? You ever sit back and be like, they in the house with me. I know they talking to me, because how they know I'm going through this stuff right here? We all have those moments. So yesterday, her word was so impactful that even the people that I work with were like, wow, I left with something that gave me not only some encouragement, but it gave me some positive endorphins, because you started feeling good. You started like shrugging your shoulders and think, you had a little something to talk about. So I definitely want you to catch her on Wednesdays, because it be coming with the real tea, y'all. And I don't like to fake no jacks with you. Things that move me, I want to share with you. Another community thing coming up. There is a free giveaway event. It's a stop, shop, and grab and go of gently used clothes, household items, shoes, ladies' purses. It's going to be held at the We Serve Our Community Nonprofit Outreach Center in Chesapeake. And that's going to be on April 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And let me tell you about Apostle Sproul. When I tell you this woman is out here doing some things, I really want you guys to get out there and see what she's doing for the community and how she's giving back, because everyone in the community is affected by something. Another thing that she's doing is she's doing an outreach for seniors, because, we often forget our seniors sometime. And that's going to be on Saturday, April 19th. So I definitely want you to get out there and see what she's doing as well, too, because, again, a resource to us is something that we need to share. And it's important that we put the positive words out so people can learn some things about how we can affect the lives of others. Now, I've had some people ask me the last couple of days, where have I been? So the Diva's been busy. I've decided to rebrand what I'm doing with this podcast, because I want to talk more about how we are leaders in the path that we're given. When you think of leaders, we think of politicians, we think of those who we work with, we think of those who we worship with, but we sometimes forget to count ourselves, and we are leaders. So now I am purposely going out, cultivating those relationships and making people better leaders, so that when we see the opportunity to be better by doing better, we can lead accordingly. And sometimes our values are sometimes misconstrued because we don't understand the right definition when we're trying to define something or someone. So when I say leaders, the first thing of that word is L, and that's legacy. We must have a legacy that we leave upon to our children. E is for the empowerment and education. A is for the abundance and the achievement. Okay. D is for determination. You have to be determined. Nothing is going to come to you because you have sat down and waited for it to come to you. You got to get out there and get on your grind. Get your hustle together. You got to be determined. E again is about being inclusive of any and everyone. We can't put barriers or different type of classifications on people if we call ourselves walking in faith. We have to be able to accept all for where they are and where they want to be. That's going to be so, so important. And then the R is for resilience. You have to be resilient. You have to have a level of strength. You have to have a level of compassion and empathy. But you have to be resilient, because what does not break you makes you stronger. That is your foundation and your blueprint for you to move forward so that you can continue to engage. So this rebrand for the dynamic perspective and the dynamic divas as a whole is to give you that, to give you the education to make you want to be better, to become better. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Are you going to one day wake up and look like Beyonce? Because if that is happening, somebody better call me tonight and tell me what I got to do so I can snap my fingers, honey, and look like Beyonce, because she paid. I'm just telling you, y'all know how to make it work. Somebody call me. But seriously, we have to put our work in so that we can be better. It can't be bought. It has to organically come from inside of you so that it's authentic when you are dealing with other people. And that's the most important thing, which brings me to our special guest tonight. So this incredible woman, this queen, I refer to her as queen, because when I first met Dr. Owens, I was so enamored with the way how people hung on to every word she said, how she was so committed to following the word of Christ and changing the lives of others, and then learning about her backstory and some of the things that happened in her life just made me want to gravitate to her energy and be a part of whatever programs and issues that she has. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Her saying is, let God do a new thing, because he always doing something new. When he's doing it, we may not understand the method or the reasoning behind it, but he's doing it. She responds to human needs, and she's a trailblazer in this community and back home for over 40 years. Her commitment to people is walking in faith and doing God's work. She uses her gift of love and empathy to call, to help those that are suffering home and abroad. There's nothing she will not do to encourage one to be better and to be wiser and to be stronger. I would say the best thing about Dr. Owens is that she helps struggling families, those that are re-entering society after being incarcerated or going through domestic violence, or just being subject to a lot of things that have changed their lives. And she believes that she needs to start with the youth, because our youth are being turned around in a direction where we're losing our youth all the time because of gun violence, gang violence, or broken homes. So she puts her energies into that. And because of that, I would say this woman brings in a wealth of energy in her programs. So I want her to feel good about all of her accomplishments and share them with you, not only as the Martin Luther King founder, co-owner, but also what she's done now for I Love Me Too. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Vanessa Owens.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Why, thank
Good
you. Thank
evening,
you.
good
Thank
evening, good
you.
evening. Thank you so much for being a part of the dynamic diva perspective. You know, I like to bring on people that just give me a sense of, let's just get it done. Let's do what we need to do for the people. You know, that's
Yes.
the most important thing. So I would like for you to start out, if you don't mind, just telling them a little bit about how you came to this determination in your life that you wanted to put Christ first and make sure that all people are able to understand his word and what he has to bring to them.
Well, that would take a little more time than we have. I will say this. I wasn't fortunate. I was blessed. I was raised in a Christian home, and I learned at an early age that Jesus loved me. Now, and I grew, and then I decided that I didn't love him, and then he decided that he still loved me. So we got to the point in a place in life that I had to develop a relationship with God. And that wasn't an overnight experience, but it was an overnight decision. So it was a process. And once I got myself knowing what I wanted to do, then I began to recognize that there were people just like me who needed help and wanted help, but needed somebody to understand how to administer the help that they needed.
Wonderful.
So that basically, that's how we started. I came to the Lord at the age of 21. I rededicated my life to the Lord at the age of 21. I began full-time ministry at 23, and I've been running ever since. So we started out as Reigning Life Community Church, and recognized that there were needs, greater needs in the community that we could meet if we become a separate 501c3. So we partnered with some people and got a charter, and the rest is history. And we're celebrating 30 years for the Martin Luther King Family Life Center, where we work with
30 years.
Yes, we do. Actually, we build strong communities and strong leaders through education and empowerment for today's diverse and, oh my goodness, just scattered world. But if we don't empower them through education and learning, then we've lost them. The education is the tool, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's social media. If we're in charge of, I'd like to use the word, if we control it, if we're teaching them what we're teaching them, then we're accomplishing the goal.
Well said. Well said. So now, in your commitment to the community, your partnerships have grown. You've met the governor, you've been recognized by the White House, you've done conferences, you've traveled. If there's one thing you could take from all those experiences that are near and dear to your heart, what would it be?
Well, I would have to answer that. Let me go back to my childhood. The second most valuable thing that I had and that I learned at home was reading. We had a set of encyclopedias, and I learned at an early age to travel the world, to go all over the world through pictures, through stories. My mother was an avid reader, and we would go to different countries, and we would ooh and we would ah. Now, as an African American or a Black family, a set of encyclopedias was a rarity for us. But my mom worked for some very, very good people that outgrew theirs, and they wanted a new set of botanicals, and they gave us the old set, and that serviced me well. Now, the second thing, the first most exciting thing in our lives was that our parents, we were Christians. Our parents taught us the love of Jesus, taught us that he loved us, and taught us to love him. So those were two starting moments in my life. But I learned at an early age to serve people and to meet people as best as I could where they were. With all of the travels, with all of the White House and all of the governors and the senators and the kings and the queens, all of those things came through the process of meeting the needs of other people. There was always, oh, can you do this? Oh, we need this problem solved. Or, I remember being over in Japan, and our signature program of the Martin Luther King Family Life Center is 40 Days of Peace. And the thing that was most exciting for the group that I was with was they took us to a community that was having an upheaval, and we were able to introduce the concept of one act of kindness at a time. One act of kindness at a time. And we taught them, they may have known in the past, but we reiterated to their children, please, thank you, have a great day. Please, thank you. Have a great day. Those simple nuggets, those simple vows, those simple rules, those simple mannerisms, those simple acknowledgments made a difference. So we had to learn early. I learned early, wherever we go in the world, people have the same problems. They just experience them in a different way. The very same things that we're going through over here in the United States today, with the exception of a couple of things I won't name, in leadership, the very same things that we're going with, everybody else is going with them. They're just dealing with them in a different manner. So we've had to learn to embrace people and to meet them where they were and come up with a solution to their problem outside of the United States, whether I was in Japan, whether I was in Africa, South America, Europe, wherever we were, wherever I was, I had to learn how to help implement and solve problems, daily needs, basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my takeaway, being able to interact with the people. And of course, now you can't separate me from Jesus. When you see me, you see Jesus. He's in me. He lives in me. I mean, he literally lives in me and I'm embodied. So, we wear the bracelets. What would Jesus do? Well, that's another story. But when you get me, you get him in the fullness. And it is my goal to exhibit what Jesus would do as I live what Jesus would do, as we're helping people with minor daily tasks before they become major.
I totally agree. You couldn't have said that better, because as we see the world change, we notice the need becomes more relevant. It definitely affects more of the marginal communities, more so because they, for lack of a better word, glamorize it a little bit more, and it's hard for them to get the resources. So being able for you to recognize that and then partner with other resources to make that happen, it's such a strong statement.
Yes.
Oftentimes when you look at these community organizations, you should say, well, we need to have a consortium of all of us coming together, because as a one unit moving together, they always say it takes 5 fingers to make a fist, and that makes a powerful blow. And that is more of us pouring into our communities, more of us getting words out in different areas, becoming advocates, standing up to the different changes in our political climate right now. Because if we don't give it sound, someone is going to take the sound from us. So you
Yes.
being in a position that you have been and what you've seen has been absolutely incredible for me, and very inspiring to those that I have met you and have talked about all the things that you've done. Even the I Love Me conference, I want you to kind of talk about that because I'm still loving the fact that I was a part of that whole thing and got to really have a good time. But what brought that about? I Love Me.
Well, having a history in community-based needs, community services, my friend, Pastor Sproul, and I were just sitting around one day in February or in January, and we were reminiscing about. Now, let me tell you who Pastor Renille is. Pastor Renille runs Chesapeake Community Center, the Cuffy Community Center, but she really runs that entire community. She's been a community advocate for the last 40 years. And, I tell her story better than she does. One of the policemen that would work at the center shared with me that there was a time when everybody, a young man would come to jail and they would say, well, tell Danielle I'm down here. And then, after about 5 young men would get locked up, they wanted to, the police department wanted to know who Aunt Nell was. So they wanted to find out, how did she have 5 nephews doing the same dumb things? And they were all very diverse. And the story is that when the boys came through the community center, she would instruct them and she encouraged them to stay out of trouble. And she would just really boost their morale. And some of them fell off the fence. And when they fell off the fence, they went to jail. But the first person they asked for, or they wanted to get a message to when they got locked up, was Aunt Nell. They call her Renille. Her name is Renille, but they call her Aunt Nell. So that was her call to fame. But we've worked the communities. Pastor Renille and I have worked the communities. I've worked the communities for the last 48 years. She's worked communities for the last 40 years. And it's in us. So we were having this discussion about Valentine's Day. And we went back. When I say we went back to the time when we were young girls. And I said, girl, when I was 15, well, nobody giving me no Valentine's candy. She said, girl, me either. I said, I had a couple of ways of getting some, though. I said, I'd eat the piece that my sister would bite off and didn't want, or I'd steal a piece out of her box. That was how I got a piece of candy. And we laughed, and working with young people, particularly young girls today, particularly young brown girls today, we came up with an idea. Well, wait a minute. Nobody's giving these girls anything for Valentine's Day, and they're going to feel left out. So we decided to have we didn't call it a conference. We called it a I Love Me Too Girls Day. And really, Pastor Reneel threw it together. I mean, when I say she threw it together, she threw it together. And when I got there, there must have been about 60 young girls from the neighboring communities, and she had partnered with other people. And at the partner with other people, they were able to bring their youth to that event. So her thing was, and the thing that really blew my mind was Pastor Reneel bought 60 boxes of chocolates. Every girl gets a box of chocolates. Every girl that comes to the event gets a box of chocolates. And there were a lot of other things, goodies and swag bags. They got to do paintings and drawings, and they got to interact with each other. We had two twins, two sisters, the Maggette sisters. They got up there and they this year they wrote a poem about the girl in the mirror that I see is a girl. That girl is me. So we've seen some really good things happening with the young people, but it started out of a desire and a need, and remembering where we were at the age of 15, 14, 12, 10, and 8. So we decided to do something about it.
And if you were there and I was there, and let me tell you, audience, how much love was in that room.
Yes.
How much these young ladies were sharing the same stories of things, how they felt, or things that they thought were true because they've heard it from somebody else.
Yes.
And how often they never heard, I love you.
Yes.
I love me.
Yes.
And to see them at the end of the day telling each other, I love you,
yes.
was probably the most powerful words that you could leave someone with. In addition to all the swag, it was just, I love me.
Yes. And I'd like to say that for me, one of the most important things, second most important thing was that we have to teach our young ladies to love themselves. Because if we don't, they will go through life being mistreated, disrespected. And you talk about self-esteem, there won't be any, because I'm not worth it. One of the things that triggered the second event was first year, 2024, we had about 50, 60 girls on the stage. And there was a presenter there who had a program called Mirror, 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 I See Me. And there were some young girls that could not look in the mirror. They started crying. There were some young girls who would not look in the mirror because they thought they were ugly. There were some young girls who just couldn't make that happen. And so we knew that we had hit a good place. We knew that we had work to do. And that was the procuring cause of the duplication of it, because we knew that we found our target market from 8 to 15. And we knew and know today that, yes, I can tell you that I love you, but I want to love me. Because if I love me, then I'll respect me, and I'll not allow you to disrespect me. If I love me, then I won't settle for less. And I'm putting it in the perspective of, you don't have to down me or talk down to me or degrade me, because I know who I am. Whether my clothes are new or not, they're clean, and I look presentable. You know, whether I have beads in my hair or not, my hair is dressed well. I love me.
Yes.
And that matters.
And that is probably where in the work that I've done, the work that you've done, has been the biggest thing. Being able to see a young lady who does not identify with her natural beauty, and being able to see that in her skin that she's worthy.
Yes.
Being able to understand that you're experiencing growing pains as you come into your fullness, as my grandmother said, you come into your fullness, right? Those young ladies, listening to them talk about how other people talked about their hair or what the clothes that they didn't have, or they didn't have the latest whatever, made me realize how society puts so much pressure
Pressure.
during
Yes.
those age groups
Yes.
to make them feel wanted, and even to the point where we take them wanting to be wanted to where it becomes negative, where now they're altering their appearances and doing all these other things to get some
Yes.
unnatural attention versus the
Yes.
natural attention, right?
And it's identification crisis.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't be
absolutely.
accepted here, so I'm going to be accepted there. Who am I? And a lot of it is peer pressure, but it's also societal. We're in this age
Yes.
that any and everything goes, and the pressures. Now, we grew up, we thought that, if we stayed out after 12, we got in trouble, or if I got detention or something like that. But we're looking at blown out expulsions. I mean, just young girls being dismissed from school for a whole year for saying something, being suspended and getting detention. And we're watching the numbers grow now. We're seeing there to be an exceptional increase in the way the system, particularly the school system, is dealing with our young Black girls.
Absolutely.
It is insane. At one time, we kept our eyes on the boys, but we're seeing that the rate of of suspension and in school suspension, out school suspension, and detention is rising, and just flat out put out of school is rising on the side for the girls.
Yeah.
So there again is another struggle, another battle. So yeah, and we have to assure them, those that we can catch, those that we can attract. You're loved, love you. Let me teach you how to love you. Education is important. Your respect is important. This is important. These are the things that are going to make life better for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And one of the things that I totally found, and just in my path, that, when I walk into a room, I want you to feel my energy. I want
Yes.
you to feel that light on me. I want you to understand that in any part of a relationship we go into, whether it be business, whether it be social, I want you to feel my energy. And if we don't match, then I don't need to share my energy with you, because then my energy gets depleted with someone who's not on the same page with me, right? And people say that's just not the way to think, but it is, because I think it was Kevin Hart that says on the way how my checking and my savings account work, that if they don't balance, I can't do it for you. I feel the same way about energy. If the energy does not match and we're not walking in a whole organically, how am I supposed to do better for you, and how are you supposed to do right? So
Well,
those are the things that I think a lot of young ladies have to get into.
and Danielle, we have to teach them, because the dynamics that you're expressing now, most of our 12, 13, 14, 15s aren't exposed to that type of behavior. So it's in survival mode. It's either competition or who's going to beat who and who's going to win. So and even at that age, we're looking at from the age of, we're seeing young ladies from the age of 10 to 15 fight over boys. And the peer pressure is always there. The class, that's always there. The good enough, the haves and the have-nots. But when you see a 10-year-old that's willing to mar up somebody's body or face because they like the same guy, then somewhere down the line, that energy has been twisted, but it has been disproportionate. Somebody told them something that's not true. So we have to deal with that.
That is true.
Yes.
And I know even when I was growing up in high school, that was the thing. You used to have the young ladies would attack the other young ladies with a box cutter or something like that over a young man, because that was the thing to do.
But
Or
the age is the thing today. The age, 10 years old. They did that when we were 15 and 17 and get ready to finish. But 10 years old. And the bullying, 10 years old. The cyberbullying, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's our lane, and we have a lot to do.
Absolutely. So organizations such as yours, mine, Pastor Sproul, like all these individuals that come together and put things together for the communities. One thing is that the community first has to want to get out there and be a part of it. right? They were
Yes.
not going to be able to learn if they don't become a part of it. And whether if it's free, whether it's a $5 fee, whatever it may be, being a part of something bigger than yourself gives you a growth experience, an educational experience, and then you get to meet other like-minded people who may be
Yes.
experiencing the same that you do, and you guys can talk about the experience, right? Because it's a teachable
Yes.
moment across the board for everyone. I applaud everyone that's listening tonight that you get with Dr. V and talk to her and see how you can partner up so that we can continue to grow our communities. Because what is going to happen is if we continue to let societal behaviors and expectations take over our families, then we lose the families. I said, we lose the children. We lose the
Yes.
right to educate. We lose the
Yes.
right to make them feel whole. Okay. There's an expression, it takes a village to raise a child. We need to go back to that. We need to go back and gather up the resources so that we can continuously give. Don't look at it from a standpoint of what is going to benefit me, because you are going to be a benefit to someone when you give unconditionally, just as we're supposed to. So that, that's very, very important. So Dr. V, I want
Yes.
everybody to know where they can find you. So tell them where they can find you so they can get to be a part of the Martin Luther King Family Life Center. They
Okay.
want to be a part
Our
of
brick
the
and
I Love Me Too program.
our brick and mortar program is at 5246 Jones Lane, Chesapeake, Virginia. We rent the facilities of the JCD Family Community Center. And you can go to mlkflc.org and find out a little more about the organization. And we're growing. And I'd like to say about the program, I Love Me Too. There are 5 other organizations that have partnered. These ladies, we've come together and we decided to do something about the situation. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to be about it. And the third thing is to do something about it. How can we make a change? How can we make an impression on the life of a young girl who we see? Now, all girls aren't in trouble. Let's not leave with that assumption. But there will be an opportunity for the wisdom that you impart into her to be utilized at some point in her life. I believe, like Benjamin Franklin, he says, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Why wait until it happens to try to fix it? Let's start building these bridges and building these roads and building these communities now, so that these safe havens now, so that these young ladies will know what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable, what's right and what's wrong. How do I make this decision? A lot of time, our girls are left out of the loop because of class. Upper class, middle class, lower class, live in the projects, live in housing, live in a trailer, live in a shelter. And these are the stereotypes that we have to come in and say, it doesn't really matter where you live. What matters is how you live and that your family is together. That's what matters, that your family is together. I was listening to a young man today and he was telling me that he's only in the 5th grade and he's been in 9 different schools. And I'm understanding that there are some hardships there in the family. And I stress to this young man, the most important thing, and the mother loves them. Loves them. The most important thing is family. You don't have to wear what everybody else have. You don't have to have name brand sneakers or name brand jeans. You don't have to have those Nikes or Zulus or whatever they are. But if your family is together and you're being nurtured, then you're on a winning path. So that was my little soapbox commercial. The Martin Luther King Family Life Center. We are located in Chesapeake at 5246 Jones Lane. Our local number is 757-808-4904. Again, it is 757-808-4904. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for sponsorship. We're looking for help. Because I understand what it's like for somebody to pour into the life of a young girl. I was that girl one day. I was a young girl that needed somebody to assist them. I was a young girl that needed counseling. I was that young girl that needed somebody to tell me that I was acceptable, that I was okay. I needed that. And if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't have, I may have been somewhere around, but I wouldn't be where I am today. All of us need encouraging. All of us need somebody to build us and to believe in us and to teach us how to believe in ourselves. That is one of the
Absolutely.
best takeaways of the day. Teach me how to believe in me. I see all of these things around me and all these people, and they can do that and they can do that and they can do that. But I want to show you the greatness that you bring to the table, the value. We're teaching young girls the value that they bring to the table. And as you do that, then they won't be as quick to build someone else and put themselves down.
Right.
Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is absolutely well said. And I don't. That's probably the best note how to end this interview. And I'm so glad that for my rebrand and coming back and doing the podcast all over again, you were my first guest because I wanted you to bring a level of energy to talk about how we as women can do these things and how we can grow and how we can blossom and how we can be better, and knowing that there are other women that have been through some challenges, and by the faith of God and resources and being resilient, we're able to move forward. So I thank you so much for being on the show this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to continuing the work in I Love Me Too.
Absolutely. I do too, because I love me too.
I do.
So before I get ready to close out, everyone, I started with my words for the month of April, and I want to just kind of add in something to that. So as Dr. V just said, that we need to be able to break down the bridges so that we can rebuild the relationships so that we can break bread. I said, and if we
Yes.
follow those three things, we're able to move forward. And if you keep that in your heart and in your minds, these things will work in your personal life as well as your professional life. And even when you're dealing with people for the first time and trying to read where they are, just keep those, those three things in mind. I want to integrate those words that I talked about earlier today for the month of April, being starting with approve again. I want you, when you open up your eyes in the morning, I want you to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Start your day by affirming your worth because you are approved and you do not need to have external validation for the internal validation that you have within yourself. Approach every challenge with confidence. I want you to put your big girl pants on. I want you to put your trousers on, your ones, your Tims, whatever it is that you wear. And I want you to walk your walk because you are approved. Abundance. I want you to shift your perspective to be gracious and show gratitude instead of focus on what you don't have. Celebrate what you do have. Acknowledge that you are already in the present. They're not speaking about you in the past. Look for opportunities to grow. Get resources that are going to empower you and make you better so that you can be better to do better. Find kindness in everything that you do and meet people where they are because their priorities in life are not your priorities so that they can walk in abundance as well too. I said we were appointed and anointed. I want you to recognize you are where you are right now because this is where you need to be. Although it may look good over there, you're not ready to be there yet. You need to finish where you're at now so that you can move over there. So be able to understand your appointment now because as you experience life, there's a struggle. And I'm going to go back to Lady D and her message yesterday because we are each triumphant in preparing for something greater. We must trust in the divine and we must be able to embrace our purpose so that you can be appointed, so that you can move into your anointed path that is only destined for you. The narrative of anointedness is coming from you. Achieve. Write down in a book, a post-it, on your phone, something you want to achieve at least once a day. Something that you want to achieve. We always start the new year with new year resolutions. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lose 50 pounds and I'm going to stop drinking wine and I'm going to, don't be on Temu in the middle of the night shopping for clothes. And, those are new year resolutions. I want you now to write down something that you achieve and you can achieve it daily. Make it realistic. Celebrate the small wins so that when you get to the bigger wins, you understand you've walked your path to get there. Make a positive checklist of all the positive things you've done for a day, whether it be holding the door for someone, texting someone and saying good morning and how you doing, just smiling at your coworker, recognizing that these small little achievements make you better, but make somebody else feel better. I hope you guys are writing this down because I'm going to give you a quiz the next time I do my podcast because I'm good for quizzes, y'all. Then I also want you just to be able to be accepting of yourself. Show compassion for yourself. You're able to make mistakes. You're able to have setbacks, but you got to speak your journey, but you have to take the blessings with the lesson. Okay. And you have to do it in the same way with kindness and graciousness. And you must have humility when you do that. Adventures. Say yes to some adventures. Do something you've never done before. Go out for a walk on the beach. Just get the sun in your face. Smell the salt air. Maybe sit and do some pottery, painting, singing. Do something different. Be adventurous. Because if you challenge yourself, you'll grow. If you don't challenge yourself, you'll stay stagnant. So think about when you put a mustard seed in the ground. If you do not water the mustard seed does not grow. Okay? So I want you to consciously reflect on these words, incorporate them into your thoughts, into your day, into your being. Be comfortable in where you are and have confirmations and affirmations. And what resonates with you the most is you must love yourself first. Because who in the heck gonna love you if you don't love yourself? Because if you tore up from the floor up, baby, what we gonna love you for? You got to love yourself first, okay? Because if you don't, you're missing out on the best part of you. And you're giving everyone else scraps because you have not built yourself to love yourself. You're always worthy, you're always encouraged, and most importantly, the Diva is always here for you. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me again. I'm back. My show will be in another 2 weeks, I think the 24th I'll be looking for another special guest. So if there's anyone that's listening online who would like to be a guest, please reach out to me. You can hit me up on the Dynamic Diva Facebook page, LinkedIn page. You can email me at dynamicdivaba@gmail.com, but definitely reach out to me. I love you all. I want you to be safe. I want you to remember, do not let anyone live in your head rent free. Until next time, the Diva out.